So like I was saying, so like at every part of my life, at every phase, there has been some sporting activity which has been like really eccentric, like not normal, and normal people wouldn't even consider it, but like it's happened. So like from school, then the football match, and like I mean that match we lost, but I still made it to the newspaper. The article said showing the boys how it's done.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a nice one.
I mean, it was very nice, and our goalkeeper had a cutout of it because I didn't even get the newspaper, so she cut it out and she kept it for me, saying like, "Hey, look, you're here." And yeah, so that happened, and then so like if you mix both the things, like the bug is already there, WT has already happened. My dad had only one rule: whatever you want to do, it has to be the best. You will not do the second best, right? So even when I was competing and things, it was like if you can really become number one in your sport, you play. So you've got to have, I think, that kind of dedication and passion, right? For something like you've got to be really good. Otherwise, don't do it. What's the point?
Yeah.
So Colombia happened because Colombia had a little bit of what do you say? So basically, it's in New York. New York is the Big Apple. It's got everything about sports. It's like the heaven for sport. And Columbia had a lot of professors and visiting faculty drop by to teach business.
Okay.
So like a lot of these modules would be like, say, sports sponsorship. Okay, where just have like people from the sports industry coming and telling you how they do deals. Then you have like facility. So, it's about how much a stadium would go for and what is the value of the team and things like that. So I think it was such a holistic program that it was just great. And it was number one. That program was number one in the world. And I think it was the only Ivy League which offered a program which was close to sports because it's in New York. All the other Ivies are in Boston and Princeton and a little away from the Big Apple, right? So over here at Columbia, I was getting amazing education with the environment.
Yeah.
So that's why I applied, and I never doubted myself ever. I just knew, and I was raised like that if I want to touch the sun, I could.
Okay.
Now there's practicality because you can't make it to the sun, but like you get my point, right? So I was allowed to dream as much as I want. I was allowed to give speeches and make speeches in my hair as a president of the country, as the prime minister. Those were pretty much.
Are you talking about the declamation part?
Just
Very
like
enact.
yeah, like those were the dinner conversations, right? Like my grandmom would ask me, and she was like this amazing, wonderful lady. My great grandmother also, Shuchi, there's a problem today. How are you going to deal with it if you're the prime minister, or things like that? And my great grandmother and I were very, very close because I was the first great grandchild.
Okay.
So we would sit and eat together, and she reminded me a little bit of Indira Gandhi in terms of just how brave she was. She was brave and she was beautiful and educated and stuff. And she would just ask me questions like that, and she'd be like, what do you want to do when you grow up, and like what are qualities of a human being? And I think there's just so much of her in me, and so I was just allowed to dream as much, and my parents did the best to like support it. So then I just applied to Columbia because I was like, oh, it's gonna be easy peasy. Because I had a lot of experience with events. See, now that's another thing, right? Like I didn't know I was doing events. I just thought it was fun, but it's adding up so much to my resume.
Yeah.
It added so much in my essay.
Okay.
Because the questions in the essay, I could just use real life examples and like put it out there. And so it's easy when it's right in the heart, right?
Yes.
And it taught me so much about just how different people can be, how different sports are, how different athletes and non-athletes are, and things like that. So like it just conditioned my mind in a very different way. And I was ready for Columbia. I just feel like I just had to write one exam, GMAT, and which also went very well. It was not too much. And that's the thing, right? Like I feel like back then, like before everyone got so obsessed with social media, people were away from the phones and actually doing something in life. I was so motivated, so confident, nothing stopped me, no questions asked. I was just like, Columbia, what's the big deal? And I had people like that. Like everyone, you want to tell her to So yeah, I mean, Columbia just happened because it was the best school and I had no backups, and I really don't think about backups too much because I would like to achieve what I'm dreaming of. And yeah, when I got my result, I think a month after I put in my application, I was wild because this was early decision. So you know, all schools have like 3 rounds of cycle, and there's early decision. So you early decisions in Feb, then you have round 1, and then round 2, and then your final rounds in April.
Okay.
So I think, just blessed. I think it was just for me to take it, you know, and I was 24, very young. I was the youngest in the cohort from this part of the world. The only person like of Indian ethnicity from this place. I had like 2 Chinese people with me and a couple of people from other parts of, you know, South Asia. But yeah, essentially, like, I just think it was meant to be. Also because I got the acceptance on my birthday.
Oh, that's so nice.
And I was just like, what's going on? 15th of February.
Okay.
So that happened, and I was, yeah, just